A tourist in Wisconsin Dells has been charged with a hate crime after assaulting a man at a bar because of his race.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Hello, everyone. Today, a Dane County judge set a cash bail at $1 million for a Madison man accused of fatally shooting his sister at her home on Christmas Eve. Our Gabriella Becerra joins us now with information that was just released today about the homicide. Gabriella?
Joseph Green was arrested for allegedly shooting his sister 15 times. He appeared in court today and faces charges of first-degree intentional homicide with the use of a dangerous weapon. The victim was found again with 15 gunshot wounds, and a Dane County judge set bail at the state's suggested amount because of strong evidence in the case, making the suspect a flight risk.
While this complaint is circumstantial in nature, it appears to be a fairly strong circumstantial case. I think that creates some flight incentive.
The defendant, Joseph Green, remained silent throughout the hearing for a bail setting after he allegedly shot his sister to death at her home on South Midvale Boulevard. According to the criminal complaint, just after 4 o'clock on Tuesday, dispatch received a phone call that said, "My sister needs an ambulance immediately," and disconnected. That call was later traced to a phone that belongs to Green.
The basis for the state's request for cash bail in the amount of $1 million is that here the defendant is charged with the most serious crime possible under Wisconsin law.
The attorney present for Green asked that a lower cash bail be set, but it was denied.
Ms. Lencioni is right that there's never a magic number on these things, but I also can't quarrel with what the state suggested. I'm going to set cash bail at $1 million.
The complaint goes on to say that the suspect had fled the scene. Officers later tracked him to his Madison apartment with the help of a canine. Officers found a gun in a dumpster outside of the building, and inside were bullets that matched the shell casings at the scene of the crime. Officers obtained surveillance video that shows Green walking toward the dumpster upon arrival and placed an object inside. A preliminary hearing for Green is set for January 2nd, and if he's convicted, Green could face up to a lifetime in prison.
All right, Gabby, thank you so much. It was another mild day today, but some rain is on the way for the weekend. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is in the Weather Center. Dave?
Well, Susan, it gets milder as we head into Saturday and Sunday. We could be close to 60 degrees on Sunday after a whole bunch of rain falls on Saturday night into Sunday morning. So a wild weather weekend to put a bookend on 2019. Right now, quiet though in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, currently at 28 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, no wind chill to speak of. That's what Doppler track looks like across southern Wisconsin, but just to the south and west, a messy system continues to take shape across portions of Nebraska and Kansas. Temperatures will stay in the low 30s and some upper 20s possible as we head into tonight. And then tomorrow, we'll see that rain develop during the late morning hours and into the afternoon and evening periods of rain possible. Temperatures rising through the 30s and 40s tomorrow. We'll talk about forecast rain amounts and also a little bit of snow on the back end of the system Monday in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. A 40-year-old man wanted in a fatal home invasion in Racine County has been arrested. The sheriff says Troy Hoffman turned himself in today. Last night, officials say Hoffman crashed his car into a car parked in the driveway of a home in Wind Lake. He fired multiple shots at the home and then forced his way inside and continued shooting. A 40-year-old man was killed. Milwaukee police have recovered the vehicle involved in a fatal hit and run that happened on Christmas Eve. They have not located the driver. 36-year-old Jamie Hansen was walking her dog when witnesses describe a vehicle driving up on the sidewalk, hitting her and driving off. Hansen was a well-known and beloved bartender at Milwaukee Brat House. She's being remembered for her positive influence. The Wisconsin Department of Justice is looking into past East High School business club trips after students discovered hidden cameras in their hotel room earlier this month. After Madison East DECA students found the cameras in their room during a trip to Minneapolis, the district placed an unidentified staff member on leave. A DOJ agent sent a letter to East's interim principal saying the department is collecting information on past DECA events, trips, and attendees. We're continuing to learn more about the criminal history of a father accused of abusing his son up to his son's death. Our Amy Reed is here now with what she found out today. Amy?
We first told you about this story yesterday. 10-year-old Dakota Collins was found dead earlier this month in Ohio. His autopsy revealed extreme abuse. Court records show the father, Al McLean, who had primary custody, had multiple violent incidents marked in his criminal record. One just a couple months after Dakota's grandmother said she tried to seek partial custody. Witnesses saw him drag his ex-girlfriend out of a car by her hair after hitting her with a pipe. Soon after, McLean took Dakota to Ohio. We talked with Dakota's uncle about this mess yesterday. He said police in Ohio knew about some incidents there, and he said they need to follow up when they hear about abuse.
Still to this day, there's kids. They might not be dying, but I guarantee there's kids out there getting beat. How many of them actually sit there and keep following through with this?
In looking through these records, we wanted to know how much custody courts knew when they allowed McLean to take Dakota. Unfortunately, we may not ever know those answers. The agencies that handle these cases are bound by law not to discuss them, so that we were unable to talk with them about this today.
Amy, thank you. A tourist in Wisconsin Dells has been charged with a hate crime after allegedly assaulting a man at a bar because of his race. This happened Saturday afternoon at Mount Olympus Water and Theme Park. 34-year-old Bradley Davis of Hales Corners was charged with felony aggravated battery. He's accused of punching the victim numerous times in the face until he passed out and fell to the floor, and then allegedly continued kicking him. Fire officials believe a TV caused a fire at a home in DeForest this afternoon. It happened just after 2 o'clock on North Stevenson Street, just south of East North Street. Everyone inside the home got out safely. Damage to the home is expected to be relatively minor. An Illinois carpenter who built more than 27,000 crosses to honor gun violence victims in the U.S. is retiring. For 2 decades, Greg Zanis has been traveling all over the country, placing the crosses at mass shooting sites. The 69-year-old began making the markers in 1996 after his father-in-law was shot and killed. Since then, he's been to tragedies in Orlando, El Paso, Dayton, Las Vegas, and this year when one struck his hometown of Aurora, Illinois.
I don't know how to cope with it anymore. And it's multiplied and multiplied and multiplied until it happened in my town.
Zanis says he is worn out, but he will hand over his work to Lutheran charities. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi still has not delivered the articles of impeachment to the Senate, saying that she needs to see what the rules of the Senate trial will be first. Congressman Mark Pocan weighed in this morning on CNN, saying Pelosi is trying to make sure that the people the president claims will prove his innocence will be able to testify before the Senate.
As I'm back in Wisconsin for the last week, what people are talking about is things that pass the smell test. If you proclaim your innocence and you have all these people who can proclaim your innocence, but you're not going to let any of them actually go ahead and say that, it just doesn't pass the smell test, I think, that we really look for.
Pocan says that's the reason a poll released yesterday shows more than 50% of people think the Senate should try to remove the president from office. We reached out to Representative Brian Stiles' office, but he was not available for comment today. A new boutique hotel is coming to East Washington Avenue. The Moxie Madison will be located between the Sylvie and Breeze Stevens Field. It will feature a chic industrial style with concrete floors and open ceilings and prioritize tech like mobile check-in and out, motion sensor lights, and free Wi-Fi. The hotel is anticipated to break ground in the fall of next year and open its doors in 2021. Looking ahead, residents in Illinois can ring in the new year with recreational marijuana. Sales became legal for anyone 21 and older starting January 1st. The state will charge a 10% tax on products with a THC level at or below 35% and a 25% tax on anything above that. Medical marijuana patients will be allowed to grow up to 5 of their own marijuana plants at home as long as they're out of public view. The ANTETOKOUNMPO brothers are spreading some holiday cheer to men at the RACINE Correctional Institution. Giannis and Thanasis surprised them with their own pair of Zoom Freak 1 shoes. They're Giannis's debut signature shoe with Nike, and they don't go on sale until tomorrow morning. The gift follows a basketball game at the prison earlier this month that Giannis and other Bucks stars helped coach. Next at 6, some warmer weather has some perks like not having to scrape the windshield or shovel, but it means local ski hills have had to make some big adjustments. We'll hear from owners about how they're coping coming up. And there's more local news ahead. State officials are warning of an invasive species that could be lurking on your Christmas decorations. We'll tell you what to look out for. That story's coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10. We'll be right back. As the second warmest Christmas just passed, some people aren't yet in the winter spirit. Emily Burdett has more on how the lack of snow is affecting local ski resorts.
It's that time of year again for winter sports, but the Wisconsin weather would say otherwise.
Well, today's my first day skiing.
The high on Friday was 37 degrees, 10 degrees above normal. Madison has already seen temperatures climb into the 50s multiple times this December.
Up to this point, we've gotten very little bits of fresh snow, but as you can see when you look outside, all of that is melted.
Without any snow, ski resorts are left to create it themselves. Cascade Mountain needs to cover 16 to 36 inches of snow across 47 ski hills, and even as they reach those numbers with man-made snow, it's still melting from the heat.
It's a little like slushier than if there was fresh snow over or powder over. It's also a little funny driving up and seeing no snow anywhere, and then you see the runs just covered in it.
Despite the warmer weather, skiers and snowboarders aren't ready to put an end to the season.
Obviously, with the weird weather that we've been having recently, many would think that sales are down, but we're actually right on par with previous seasons.
Marketing director Alex Stoic from Devil's Head Resort says that although day skier visits have slightly decreased, everyone he's talked to is loving the spring-like conditions in December. So even as the weather continues to push records, people are still hitting the slopes.
As long as there's something here, we enjoy it.
In Portage, Emily Burdett, News 3 Now.
In Lake Geneva, the ice castle that's normally finished by Christmas is only a quarter of its full size due to the warm weather. Manufactured snow is still around at ski hills, but manufactured ice for the ice castle keeps melting.
The weather definitely threw a wrench into things. We were a little bit higher last week, but unfortunately we did lose some of that height.
They make their own snow and they freeze their own ice. All they need now is a couple weeks of cold. The site manager says they're at the will of Mother Nature at this point, and they're hoping to have the castle open around January 10th. Coming up in sports, we're just days away now from the Badgers taking on Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Kevin Lewis has an update on their practice in the sunshine when we come back. And the mild temperatures mean rain this weekend instead of snow on the way. Dave has the details in the forecast next. It is going to be a wild weekend weather-wise. We might actually see a thunderstorm this weekend.
Yeah, not out of the question. I feel like I was pressing the snooze button for the past couple of weeks, so I need to get some work out of me before 2019 comes to a close, because this system is a powerful one. The good news, I guess, for us is we're on the warm side of things this time around, so we're talking mostly rain instead of mostly snow, like our friends across the Dakotas into western Minnesota could be looking at a whole bunch of snow. But for us, we're becoming cloudy tonight. A soggy weekend is in store for southern Wisconsin that could affect travel, not as much as some spots to the west, and we are going to be turning more wintry after that. On the backside of the system, a little bit of snow is possible. We're talking in the order of about 1 inch to 1.5 inches at most, so we'll watch out for that, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. Speaking of that system, we have a mess of rain and snow moving into portions of Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado right now. This storm system still getting its act together close to the Rocky Mountains. This will expand to the north and east over the next 24 hours or so. I anticipate our first raindrops coming into southern Wisconsin sometime tomorrow morning, and we're looking at the mid to late morning hours. And that's good news, because if we got precipitation before that, there could be the chance of some isolated areas of some freezing drizzle or some flurries before everything changes over to rain, which I think really is going to be the main headline over the next couple of days. Almanac today in Madison, today's high of 38 degrees is still pretty mild, but not as mild as we have been. Still, though, about 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. Upper 30s and low 40s for most of us. The Dells at 32 for the high. Those temperatures have dipped into the upper 20s actually for most of southern Wisconsin, so a little bit lower than forecast, but the clouds are starting to move in, so that should cap temperatures right about there for most of the night. And our high temperatures, though, they're not being capped at all. In fact, they are going up once again into the upper 40s on Saturday. We'll see those temperatures gradually rise through the 30s and 40s throughout the day, and then into the mid 50s on Sunday with some scattered rain showers possible. After that, as temperatures take a nosedive into the low 30s Monday and Tuesday, we could be looking at a little bit of light snow on Monday into early Tuesday. So we'll watch that closely, but before we get there, we have to get through the rain. And as you can see, there are some shades of pink showing up here early tomorrow morning, especially north and west of Madison. So there is a chance of some freezing drizzle trying to mix in with that light rain early, but temperatures will warm up quickly enough where that's not a major concern that we're worried about. We are watching the threat of some heavy rain, though, late Saturday into early Sunday. That's when our greatest chance of hearing some rumbles of thunder will be, is overnight into early Sunday morning. And then on Sunday, some light rain possible. Really not looking at adding to those totals, but we will add to those temperatures with highs in the mid 50s expected. Future track precipitation, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain widespread from this system. There could be some isolated amounts closer to 1.5 inches if we get those downpours to materialize. Then on the backside of this system on Monday, as temperatures crash into the low 30s for highs, we could be looking at some light snow. Not expecting major accumulations there. About 1 inch is possible, so we'll update that as that gets a little bit closer. Looking quiet, though, for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with temperatures in the 30s.
After the break, a high school hockey matinee, and Badger football gets to practice in the sunshine. We're doing that sports thing next. 5 more days until the Badgers kick off the 106th Rose Bowl against the Oregon Ducks. Only 24 hours until News 3 Now Sports has live coverage from Southern California. Lower 60s during the day, upper 40s while we sleep, so we're not getting off that easy. Wisconsin trying to win its 6th straight bowl game, the 5th in a row under head coach Paul Chryst, but they haven't won a Rose Bowl since New Year's Day 2000. They've lost 3 straight. Melissa Kim and I starting tomorrow night on News 3 Now at 6. Well, the Badgers were the reigning Pinstripe Bowl champions until this afternoon. Michigan State taking on Wake Forest. Watch quarterback Jamie Newman for Wake. His pass deflected by Jacob Panashik right to his older brother Mike. It's a Panashik party. Fat guy touchdown alert. That is a pick 6 from 15 yards out. Take another look. Sometimes it's your day. Spartans win 27-21. They finish 7-6. 26 of 40 passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and a rating of 68. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers said Monday's win over the Vikings was one of his better games this season. Now, Rodgers isn't putting up MVP numbers, but he says he doesn't have to. He is more concerned with getting first downs, limiting mistakes, putting the ball in the hands of Aaron Jones, walking off the field with a W, and being 1 game away from home field advantage.
I don't need to throw 40 touchdowns for us to win. You know, I need to be great on my checks. I need to be as efficient as possible. I need to take care of the football. I'm never lowering the bar for myself. The expectations are for greatness, but my responsibility was to get us in checks, and my responsibility was to get us in the right protection scheme and to take care of the football.
The Wisconsin men's basketball team still looking for a signature non-conference win before Big Ten play restarts. It's not for lack of scheduling. The Badgers travel to Tennessee tomorrow afternoon, where they'll try to put things together at a place that isn't kind to visitors.
It's a great challenge. Good chance to get a quality win to build on your resume. But it's, you know, non-conference, we want to play a hard schedule really to prepare ourselves for the Big Ten schedule and what's coming ahead. And as you can see already, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, it's going to be a competitive league.
Day 1 of the Culver's Cup, 3 brackets, 24 teams. Madison Metro Lynx taking on Sioux Falls, South Dakota in game number 1. The Lynx in white. Sydney Rafts controls. The wrister finds the back of the net. The Lynx win 4-2. They will play the St. Croix Fusion tomorrow, 2:45 at Hartmeyer Ice Arena. But yesterday was gymnast Simone Biles. Today, Kawhi Leonard. He's the AP Male Athlete of the Year. Leonard, now a Los Angeles Clipper, led the Toronto Raptors to their first NBA title this summer, earning Finals MVP honors. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was second. Giannis Antetokounmpo came in a very distant 5th. I tried to stuff the ballot box electronically, but didn't work out.
You packing your bags? You leave tomorrow morning?
Leave tomorrow morning.
Touchdown.
The Lowry's Beef Bowl is tomorrow, so we're getting to work. Melissa, Kim, and I.
Oh,
6
can't
o'clock
wait.
tomorrow. Yeah,
can't wait.
It'll be fun.
Out that way, the weather a little bit more messy west of us, but I think you should be all right at the Rose Bowl. A 10-day forecast showing a whole bunch of rain on the way to southern Wisconsin over the next few days.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back here for News 3 at 10.